Hello, everyone. Good evening. I hope you are all doing well, or good morning, depending on where you are. I always forget there's different time zones here. Bear with me, guys. It's only my 20th stream, and I'm still making these errors. So let's just give it a minute here while the stream catches up, because I know we do have a lag. Hi, Birdo. Hi, Sin. Hi, Harry and Raven. Oh my gosh, you guys are donating money. That was not expected, but thank you. And Sinister said, "Long live Snoopy." Okay. So, how are you doing tonight, Chills? Or should I go by Dylan? What do you prefer?
Dylan is good.
Okay. So, how are you doing tonight, Dylan?
I'm doing good. Yourself?
Doing well. Just like I was telling you before the stream, just really excited for this. And this, it's funny how this coincided with my 1,000 subscribers. So this is a complete treat for me, like double treat here, because I get to interview you, and I'm also celebrating the 1,000 subscribers. So that's always a good feeling.
Yeah, perfect timing, and congratulations on that.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, a drop in the bucket compared to you, but still feels like an accomplishment.
For sure.
Okay.
And it's always at the beginning is always the hardest.
It really is. I can honestly say that it's felt like a lot reaching this first 1,000, but I heard that it doesn't phase you after that as much, I guess.
Yeah. It's just it almost just makes you want to hit that next milestone. And then as soon as you hit that, it's just the next one.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you're off and you're like running off, into the next goal. Okay, so let's get started with the interview. What inspired you to, or who inspired you to start creating content on YouTube?
So I guess with this with top 15s and chills, sort of that more list format, when I first created it, I was really into the channels Danger Dolan and All Time Tens. But even before that, I was creating on YouTube, just not necessarily in this genre. So it was kind of, I guess, a dream of mine since around the fourth grade to be a YouTuber.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. So you've had this dream for a long time. It grew up with you.
Yeah, definitely. And it was just sort of just trying ideas. And I think when I first, had this dream, or I guess just that passion to actually try creating a video. It was when I was first starting to get into YouTube. And since I was just like a kid, my favorite channel was Smosh. So me and my friends would try like that sketch comedy. And I really hope every copy of that footage is deleted now, because I can only imagine how cringy that would be looking back on it. But I just feel like it's one of those things where practice makes perfect, and just, keep creating until you find something that you're passionate about and you just want to keep moving forward with it.
Gotcha. And what steered you particularly towards the horror genre? Because I mean, I guess top 15s could be a little bit more loose than just the horror, because I know you've done other videos on it, but what particularly brought you to the horror community?
I guess it was just the fact that I really enjoyed watching horror content. And I want to say Danger Dolan was probably the biggest channel, or I guess the channel I was watching the most frequently at that time. But I've always just been a big fan of like true crime and just sort of mysteries in general. And I was quite into creepypastas before I started narrating. So I feel like those all sort of had influences on what became of my channels.
Gotcha. Okay. And I know that, you started off with top 15s as far as this, I guess, the horror community, correct? And then you had the channel that was Dylan something. I remember I was subbed to it. And
Dylan
then
narrates.
that's what it is. That's what it was. It was Dylan narrates, and then now it's Chills, correct? I mean, that was the
Yeah.
evolution, I guess you could say.
Mhm.
So what made you walk away from Dylan narrates?
Dylan narrates was sort of a half-assed idea, for lack of a better term. And the idea that I had in my head um, would have probably never actually worked out once I saw trying to execute that. So I wanted to put out like daily scary stories. And yeah, I guess that was the idea behind it was daily scary stories, and just trying to keep that up and finding people to work with that were also able to, be consistent on a daily basis was just next to impossible. Like, I really have no idea how channels can put out content on a daily basis,
Yeah,
just
it's
because life
I
is so unpredictable.
yeah, I really commend the people who are able to do that. I have a friend or two who are able to do that, and I couldn't do it. I just couldn't, even if you do this for a living, I feel like there comes a point where it would burn you out. But,
Hmm.
I guess if this is really, really your passion and you just have, all this time to do it, then I guess that's how they pull it off. But I personally could not. So then the idea of chills came about. Did that stem from the fact that you were shutting down the Dylan narrates, or how did chills come about?
Chills kind of came about because Top 15s is a very generic name, and I didn't really have a name to my voice. So I
Uh-huh.
wanted to create something that would, I guess, give my narration, make it a little bit more identifiable, and then somewhere where I could just focus on scary content. Because as you were saying before, Top 15s isn't necessarily just scary videos.
Uh-huh.
So that was what Chills was supposed to be, was just scary videos.
Gotcha. Okay. And what made you choose the name Chills?
Um, when I saw that you sent me that question, I've been thinking about it the last couple days. I remember I was in bed and the idea just sort of came to me. I wrote it down and then just went to sleep. And when I woke up the next day, it just sort of stuck with me and I really liked it. But before that, I knew I wanted it to be something that was easy for people to type out and also one word.
Oh, okay.
So
So
I yeah, I guess like I had some ideas in mind for what I wanted it to be, but how chills actually came about, not 100% sure, to be honest with you.
it just dawned on you and you knew that was the one.
Yeah.
Okay. And what about your logo? It's like a screaming man. It actually reminds me of a painting, which I think is called the Screaming Man, or the Scream rather. How did you come about, or why did you select that as your avatar?
So, I knew it was pretty big in the like sort of horror community to have that face as sort of your icon. So
Uh-huh.
that's where the initial inspiration came from. And I was on Reddit, the creepy subreddit, and it was this guy who was posting his charcoal art,
Uh-huh.
and I was really liking what he was posting. So I messaged him on there and I told him, like, I'm starting this channel, like I'm looking for some artwork for it. Is that something you can help me out on? And for I believe it was $100, he drew that and also my channel art by hand, and he scanned them and sent them to me, and also mailed me the physical copies, which I have hanging up in my room right now.
Oh, wow.
And to me, it just turned out perfect. So I
That's
kind of just fell in
awesome.
love with it. Yeah, instantly. So
That's awesome that it was hand drawn. I mean, we all in uh my designer, I guess you could say, for Margbot. I mean, he did a great job, but to have something that's hand drawn, I feel like it's a little bit extra special.
yeah,
Because
like he
like you
really
said,
went.
you have the physical copies.
Yeah, like he really went above and beyond, and I'm really appreciative for what he did. And for anyone who is interested, his Twitter is linked in my channel description.
Gotcha. Okay. What have you been most satisfied when it comes to your channels?
I want to say the community that has grown around the content I've created. So, I mean, with anything in life, it's not like 100% of the time I'm 100% motivated to be creating new videos. And to see that support that I get, though, when I pour all this time into effort into something, I mean, it is really amazing. And I find that is one of my biggest motivators moving forward.
Yeah, I have to say that that's probably one of the most rewarding things in this community is I mean, I don't know about you when you first started, but for me, especially because I'm not making any money in this or anything like that, it really helps to keep you going. And then sometimes when you feel unmotivated or when you're getting all these dislikes, it's a little bit disheartening. But then you have all these other people who just kind of step in. They're like, hey, we love your content. And it just makes it all so much worthwhile.
Oh, totally.
So I can relate to what you're saying there. And it's nice that you still get that feeling, even though you have this huge channel and this other channel that's growing pretty quickly here, but you still feel, the love from your subscribers and they're still able to have that effect on you. That's awesome.
Yeah, and I mean, I will always be appreciative. Just the fact that somebody or a group of people are willing to watch the things I make it's very humbling, especially after all this time.
Yeah. Yeah, I can totally see why. What do you feel has been the biggest obstacle since you started narrating on YouTube?
Probably my own procrastination when it comes to narrating. And I want to say over time, I've gotten better with it by creating deadlines for myself. But
Hmm.
before it was like, oh, I'll narrate tomorrow. And then tomorrow would come and I would just say, oh, the day after. And it would just sort of repeat in that cycle till I was like, this needs to happen now. And I was just miserable while doing it. So I guess it was just finding something that made me feel that passion to do it over and over again.
Gotcha. How old were you when you started narrating, if you don't mind me asking?
I was 16. Yeah,
Yeah.
16.
See, I mean, I don't know, but when I was 16, I procrastinated a lot. I mean, I still procrastinate a lot, but I don't know how you've stayed so committed to your channels since you started so young. I mean, I was way too distracted at that age. And the fact that you have this huge channel already and you're still fairly young, it says something about you that you may have procrastinated, but you've been able to kind of, keep up with it. So that's great.
Well, awesome. Like, I really appreciate you saying that. And I do feel like um, YouTube has changed my personality and has made me more of a hard worker because I know that it's basically like it's never enough when it comes to videos. Like I'm never gonna hit a milestone and be like, this is it. I'm just gonna stop making videos. That I just need to keep moving forward and think of that next idea and figure out, what's gonna create something that I'm gonna be happy with. I guess the final product.
Gotcha. See, that's great though, because that means you're gonna keep innovating, like and getting new ideas for what you could come up with next, which is great news for us as your subscribers, because it means that you're gonna keep putting out content for us. Because I have to tell you, when I first found your channel, I started binge watching it. Like I could not get enough when I found the top 15 channel.
That's
Um,
awesome.
and then I think it was one of your top 15 videos where you let slip that you had the Dylan Narrates channel, and I think that was kind of like your little secret on the side. So I went over there and I watched all the videos and I was just waiting for more to come out until you said you were closing that one down. Uh,
Yeah, and I was very surprised that you even brought up the Dylan Narrates channel because it was very small and it was just for a very short amount of time.
that'll tell you how much of a hardcore fan I am. Yeah, but I was very happy when I saw that you were coming out with Chills because I'm like, yes, I have two different places where I can find his videos.
Yeah, and then I feel like what's made Chills more successful is I guess I fully developed the plan before I created and announced the channel. Like I had a team of people in place that we could create consistent content. Um, I want to say it was like the first 10 or so videos topics already thought up and how I was gonna I want to say promote it to the top 15's audience
Oh,
rather than
cool.
just being like, hey, this is my other channel, go check it out. So it was really amazing to see that initial push. Like when I made the announcement video on top 15's, it got, I think it was 15,000 subscribers in the first day.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
So
So
yeah,
basically, you took what you learned from your top 15's channel and from a little bit of Dylan Narrates, and you realized that you needed a plan for this one, and that really helped it take off, is what I'm getting.
Definitely.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. What is your favorite topic to narrate? I mean, you've done so many videos that do you have a favorite topic or do you have a top three?
I honestly don't know if I do have a favorite, or no, excuse me, a favorite topic. I've always really liked narrating about the deep web. I know I don't do it as much sort of lately, but I guess I always just found that um, I don't want to say genre, but there's quite a few topics within the deep web, but I always just
Mhm.
found that the most interesting.
Oh, okay. I feel like as a subscriber, people seem to love the deep web topics. They can't get enough of it. I think it's one of the most popular within the horror community. So it doesn't surprise me that you would choose that. If you had to pick the fiction, let's say the creepypastas, versus narrating the true stories, which would you prefer?
I want to say the creepy pastas just because as the whole true scary story community grew, I was receiving way more stories that were obviously fake. So it was sort of putting something out there that this person was telling me was true, but I mean, I couldn't necessarily confirm that. Where with creepy pastas, it's almost like a different form of horror, but I almost enjoy that more because it's more of that fear of the unknown, I guess.
Hmm. Okay, I see. Yeah, which is curious because I feel like the consensus in the community is the true stories, quote, true stories, are more popular. But I personally like the creepypastas better just because there's so much creativity involved in them. And then with
Hmm.
the true stories, you never really know if they're true. For all you know, they may as well be creepypastas. Um,
Yeah.
so I can relate on that front. So, what do you feel helped your top 15's channel be successful?
I want to say consistency and the drive to, because I always thought one day it would be a big channel. And I almost used that as my motivation in the early stages because I want to say maybe not a year, but okay, yeah, actually around a year. Like when Top 15s first started, it was more or less like not creepy videos whatsoever. And they weren't really doing good. And I didn't really enjoy making them. So using, I want to say that motivation of just, I guess, believing in my own idea that I would just keep putting out videos. And then once I started making the more like scary ones, I believe it was like my third or fourth one that did actually take off. And then after that, it was just the consistency of keeping putting out content on a regular basis.
Would you say that that work ethic would still apply or would still help a new channel now with YouTube the way it is?
I think so, but I think the biggest challenge for new YouTubers is the level of competition on YouTube. So I feel like if you are starting out, you need to have something that's going to make your channel pop out compared to the rest.
Something that sets it apart. So that comes to my next question. What is your advice for any new serious narrators?
I would say put out consistent content and have something about your channel idea that is unique. Because to me, there's nothing wrong with taking an idea and making it better. But if you just see, hey, this person is doing good making this sort of video, and I'm just going to copy that sort of idea and just do that for myself,
Hmm.
there's already someone making that sort of video.
Yeah.
Like there needs to be something that makes you unique in the community.
That's true. That's true because I feel, back when you started, for instance, this was relatively new, but now this entire genre is saturated and you have to have something, like you said, that sets you aside. And sometimes for some people it's their voice. Sometimes they just have a very pleasing voice,
Mm-hmm.
and other times it's because they focus on a certain topic. So I can agree with that. And yeah, I mean, like you said, just do something that sets you aside from everybody else. Is there a message you would like to get across through your videos or any of your channels to your subscribers?
Well, I feel like the message that is sort of portrayed, maybe not even necessarily, is that the world is a pretty messed up place,
Uh-huh.
just from the amount of topics there are to cover in sort of the scary genre. And sure, I've not focused on 100% of topics that are, real true crime, but I have done those topics, and I'm sure I'll do more in the future. And it's pretty scary, even just personally having to like research and, present these topics, that there's some really messed up events that have happened in the world over in the past and are still happening on a regular basis.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, we should all be weary, I guess, to some extent, of being caught alone in alleys at night.
But yeah, and I guess don't let that hinder you living life, because I mean we're all gonna die one day.
So dark. No, but you're completely right. We're all gonna die one day. You should still go out and have fun. Just be careful, like don't be too crazy about it, I guess.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a good message though. I mean, I feel like with the true stories, that's kind of what people should just get from them in general. It's like, okay, well, this happened to this person, and some of the stories, people comment and criticize, and they say, well, that person was dumb because they shouldn't have done this. But then there's other stories that really portray the fact that you could be anywhere and still be in danger. So I,
Yeah.
I guess it goes both ways.
Oh,
Is there
definitely.
Are there any improvements you're hoping to make in any of your channels in the near future?
I want to say consistency when it comes to the quality of entries on my videos. So when I created a regular upload schedule, I knew there was going to be some sacrifice for quantity over quality. And to me, the worst feeling is seeing something in one of my videos that I don't like, but I still have to put that out because I need to have a video uploaded tomorrow, and those changes can't be made in that amount of time. So
Ah, okay.
I just want to say, moving forward, it's just, being on the same page with my team, and I guess better communicating the vision I have for these topics. And I feel like that's just something that'll get better over time.
Yeah. I mean, everything, practice makes perfect. You've mentioned your team a couple of times. I mean, you don't have to answer this, but how many people comprise your team?
Um, there's a couple people that I've worked with for years, and I mean, I can shout out their names. I mean, they obviously deserve it. So the original two people I was working with, their names were Kenneth and Shell,
Uh-huh.
and Kenneth was an editor and Shell was a writer. So it was a good team initially right off the bat, because I was
Hmm.
just getting way too overworked. I mean, I was still in high school at this point, trying to manage finals and all these courses on top of this was just making me so basically just burned out that I needed that extra help to, I guess, to put out the level of content that I wanted to. And then um, the second writer I started working with, Jonah, he just sort of emailed me out of the blue one day and was asking me if I needed a writer. I was like, sure, that'd be great. And he still writes for me 2, 3 years later.
Oh,
And
wow.
ironically, it turns out that we live in the same city and we had no idea this whole time. So we actually went for dinner and met each other face to face. I think it was about 2 months ago now. So it was kind of crazy to,
Wow, what are the odds that, he'd live in your same city?
yeah. And then I had a really, like a childhood friend of mine moved to Texas where Shell and Kenneth are from. So I got to
Hmm.
meet them face to face as well. And then moving forward with Shills, I've worked with pretty much the same writer this whole time. His name's Kyler, and the same editor whose name is Jacob. And
Gotcha.
since we're not putting out as much content, it's sort of like I was working with a smaller team. And then there's one other writer I work with on a regular basis with Top 15s. Her name is Jessica, and actually one other editor as well, whose name is Huba. And I mean, I'm just so grateful for their commitment to these channels, because without them, I mean, putting out this much content wouldn't be possible.
Yeah, it sounds like a true team effort. That's awesome, though. That's amazing that, all of you guys could work together and put all of this together for us to enjoy.
Hmm.
Because I mean, a lot of people can't work in groups, I guess you could say. But it's nice that you guys have this team effort. And I mean, the content on Top 15s, like I said, I'm kind of addicted to it. And I'm sure many of those viewing this are addicted as well. I mean, you're an icon of the community because of the work that you put into your channels. If you could meet any two narrators from this community within the next 12 months, who would they be and why?
I would say the first one would be Corpse Husband.
Uh,
And because we've been in contact for such a long time now, and I still have no idea what he looks like, nor has he even told me his real name, that is just sort of this mystery that, is like just, I guess, just wondering, which is the worst part of it.
Yeah, I think
Just
we're all
because
in that same boat here.
yeah.
I think we all wonder. But yeah, and I mean, how long have you guys known each other?
Um, I reached out to him, I want to say it's been about 2 years ago now.
No.
And what it was that somebody had commented on one of my videos saying, you need to check out Corpse Husband. So I looked up his channel and watched a couple of his videos, and I sort of just knew that he was going to blow up. Like I had this feeling, I was like, this guy is going to be huge, that I wanted to collaborate with him. And then he did a scary story video for Top 15s. And ever since then, I mean, we still talk to each other every once in a while, but I think he's a really cool guy. And I think the content that he makes is amazing.
Yeah, I've had a chance to talk to him a few times, and he does seem like a pretty cool guy. Um, and I hope that someday, he comes out and we finally know what he looks like. What about your second narrator?
I would probably say Mr. Nightmare. And just because I really respect the fact that this whole time he stuck to his morals and what he's wanted to do as a creator.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just worked. I mean, it's worked out so well for him. I mean, obviously, he has an extremely, extremely popular channel.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I just have a lot of respect for him. I would just like to have a conversation with him face to face.
Have you ever been able to reach out to him? Because I don't think I've seen him in any of your videos.
We've spoken a couple times just by email.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I
So
don't know
any,
why that collaboration has never
yeah, I was gonna
happened.
say, so why no collaboration? Or
I
is
think
that
honestly, I'm just a little nervous to ask him. I know he's done collab
Oh, okay.
with other channels,
Glad
but
to
I
see
don't know
you still
why.
getting
I
nervous.
always, yeah. And it's like sort of what you were saying as well with like the bigger channels. Like I don't want him to think I'm just like trying to leech off of his subscribers or just wanting to work with him because he's been so successful.
Uh-huh.
So I guess I've always just instead never asked him. But
You know,
that's probably the most requested collaboration I get.
it's really curious that you say this because I mean, you have a channel that has over 1.5 million subscribers, and you still have the same concerns that us little guys do when we're asking a bigger channel for collaborations. Because I mean, I'm pretty sure that you went through this at some point, or maybe still go through it when there's people who just randomly message you and say, hey, you want to collaborate with me? I want you to help me grow my channel. And that's just rude, you know? So then it kind of makes other narrators paranoid as to, are you just trying to use me and then you're just going to forget me after this? So it makes us, I guess, as smaller channels feel a little bit better when you still have these concerns. Because I guess it's just something that happens all across the community, no matter how big or small you are.
Yeah, definitely.
And I never thought that you would have that concern. So it's a little bit eye-opening, but hopefully, we get to see that collaboration here soon. Maybe
Yeah,
this
maybe
will get back to Mr. Nightmare somehow.
yeah.
But yeah, I like connecting people through my streams also. I think that's how you're here, actually. I have to ask, how did you find my channel?
So, I follow Southern Cannibal on Twitter, and he, I guess, retweeted one of your streams. And
Hmm.
I was doing editing, I think, at the time. So I was like, oh, I'll just sort of watch this in the background. So I was watching it for a little bit. Like I was kind of like, oh, should I put something in the chat? But I never did. But I
Oh,
just really enjoyed sort of the structure of it and the conversation you guys were having. And then I checked out your channel and I saw that you had done interviews with other YouTubers.
hmm.
So I thought I would just reach out and see if you were interested doing something like that with me.
Oh, that's awesome and amazing. Thank you. I appreciate that. Wow,
Thank you.
makes the girl feel good. So, what have you had? Well, I'm sure you've had some crazy fan occurrences.
I
Care to
wouldn't
share
say
any?
necessarily crazy. The weird, like I've only had one person recognize me, like in person, I guess.
Hmm.
But online, I still think my favorite one is, and it was just a photo I was tagged in Instagram. And now I wouldn't say this is like the craziest one, but it is definitely my favorite. And a husband had bought for his wife, it was this picture frame. It had 4 photos in it.
Hmm.
And the first one was the husband and wife. The second one was the husband and their daughter. The third one was the wife and their daughter. And the fourth one was just my face reveal photo that I posted on Instagram. And it just made me think, like, somewhere in the world, a photo of me is just hanging up in someone's house. And like the caption was like, oh my God, I love it. Like, this was such a good present.
You're
And
part
I'm
of the
just like,
family now.
yeah. Like I wonder if like someone ever goes over to their house and they're like, "Who is this guy?"
You're like, he's our long lost son or cousin. We're related to him, okay? That's awesome, man. That's creative in a strange way, I guess you could say.
Oh, for sure.
What was the reaction you got when you face revealed? I mean, was it, oh my gosh, we would have never thought you looked like that? What was it like? Or, you know?
Well, I think for the most part it was very positive. So like sitting with that photo and just like waiting to press the post button was very nerve-wracking. And to see the response I got was very humbling. And I mean, it just made me feel good, I guess, just because I've always been very self-conscious of my appearance. So putting myself out there like that and just knowing that whatever you put on the internet, not 100% of people are going to like. So I
Yeah.
think you have to be ready for that criticism. And I mean, criticism on my videos or my voice just sort of bounces off me at this point. But I really didn't know how I was going to handle that based on my appearance. And just sort of like that overwhelming wave of positivity was just, made me feel like it was, I was happy with my decision to put my face out there.
Gotcha. What made you feel like you were finally ready to do that? Because I mean, you have a big channel, so some people, decide I'm never going to do it, but you finally decided you were. So what made you come to that decision?
I guess the feeling that I was neglecting social media, and still to this day, I find it very difficult to sort of just tweet what my actual opinion is on things, or I guess what I'm doing on a regular basis. And even social media in general. Like, I mean, I tried starting a Facebook last week, but they disabled it, which I'm trying to now get back because I was trying to, also, a new way to connect with my audience. But before that, I mean, I didn't have Facebook for like 3 or 4 years. I never posted on my personal Instagram. That it made me realize, though, with what I was doing now as a career, that that was a very beneficial tool for connecting with the people that were watching my videos.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely the social media is a huge chunk of collect connecting, with your subscribers. So this entire time you've been doing it without that, which is even
Yeah.
more awesome. Just because I know that a few of the narrators have gotten big because they connect through social media. And here you are just doing it all on your own. Okay, guys, do you have any questions? Because that concludes my interview. But I'm sure you guys are curious about a few things. Let's see. Axeman asked earlier if you liked Skittles.
No, I don't. I'm not a big fan of candy. My
Oh,
only
okay.
one I really do like though is chocolate,
Ooh, what kind of chocolate?
like milk chocolate, like probably the worst kind for you. But I try to very small doses. To me, like sugar is very addicting, so I try to limit myself on it. Otherwise, I'll just go, eat it to the point I feel sick and just go, why the hell did I do this?
Look at you being super disciplined. You're ahead of like 98% of us. Let's see. What is your favorite horror movie?
That I actually don't know. Like as a child, the one that scared me the most was the Blair Witch Project.
Ah,
And
classic.
yeah, and um I guess as a grown man now, the movie that scared me the most, and this is gonna be like just sort of a weird response, was Insidious Chapter 3. But it was kind of because I was not really in a sober state of mind watching it.
That's got to be fun.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But I guess like as a favorite movie, that's a really good question. I don't know if I could just give you just one in particular, but I feel like that's just with movies in general for me. I kind of just go through phases of what I like.
Gotcha. Do you have a top 3? Or is it just too difficult?
I would need some more time to actually come to that.
That's fine. Okay, so I'm gonna link a few friends here. You are welcome to stay and hang out with us. Goose said if Dylan, oh sorry, Pop-Tarts or strudels.
Strudels.
Oh yes. Okay, I'm like high-fiving you right now to the internet because so I don't know if it was part of the stream that you saw, but they always bring up this question as to what's better, if it's Pop Tarts or toaster strudels, and I'm just like toaster strudels, and I'm the only one who feels this way. So yes, finally a fellow toaster strudel supporter.
Yeah, like toaster strudels kick Pop Tarts ass. Like
Yeah.
I
See?
think I've eaten like
See?
Pop Tarts like
There you go, guys. Thank you. The
2, 3
man
times
knows
in
what
my
he's
life.
talking about.
But here in Canada, we have very limited flavors. Like whenever I go to the States and see the selection of Pop Tarts, I
Mhm.
can see why it's so popular there. But here you have like vanilla,
Just your
chocolate,
basics.
and strawberry. Yeah, like
Oh, maybe that's why then you're a toaster strudel lover. Oh well, it doesn't matter. You already chose it, so.
yeah.
Mr. Breadman said, of the videos you've made, which one is your favorite?
I don't think I could give an answer for that.
Okay.
I don't think there's one in particular that I like more than the other, or
Uh,
others, I guess.
Mr. Breadman, just I don't know if you missed that, but he said he does like the deep web. Oh, hey Goose, welcome. The deep web topic. So
Pop-Tarts.
he said toaster strudel, so you fail.
Dude,
This
come
time you're
on.
the minority, okay?
Come on. You're so gross.
Goodnight Goosebumps. Meet Dylan. Dylan, meet Goodnight Goosebumps. Although I'm
Nice to
sure
meet you.
everybody knows Dylan.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, my daughter wouldn't let me come on without saying that she was like your biggest, fan, like talking about until I want to say until I started, but that's not the case. She watched the five scariest YouTube videos, and she stopped watching after that because she had nightmares. So good job. Thanks.
Thank you. I always wonder if kids watch my videos. Because to me, like, as a kid, right? I mean, I like South Park and like Family Guy, and I'd watch scary movies. But then, as somebody who's grown up, I was always think like, is this really like, do I want
Appropriate.
kids? Yeah, watching this. And then like, I was at a wedding last month for my cousin, and one of my other cousins who I saw there, I think she's like 9. I had no idea she like loves watching my videos. And I was kind of like, oh, I don't really know if you should be watching these, but I guess she likes them. So
Did she know it was you narrating them?
no, she had no idea.
Oh my God. Did you tell her?
What?
Was she just freaked out when you told her?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
How would she not know you?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe.
Because you have a very
Yeah,
distinct voice, obviously. So, I
For
mean,
real.
if I met you in person, I'd know. I would just know. I mean, man, we talk about your voice on here all the time.
All the time. There's no way I would know. I'd be like, dude, like right away. Like, Dylan. You'd be like, nah. I'm like, bullshit. You're lying.
Swamp Dweller said, how does Chills juggle content between 2 channels with a following his size? How does he prioritize?
I want to say top 15s does get priority. Like, I think it was a couple weeks ago. I was too pressed for time and I couldn't get a Chills video out that week. And in return, I was making sure that top 15s had a video uploaded for Saturday. But since I do work with different teams for the different channels, I find that, it's more streamlined based on the fact that, it's different people working on different things.
Gotcha. But there's only one voice of Dylan. So.
And like moving forward, that's how I'd like to be, right, is narrating everything. Like I've worked with numerous narrators in the past who I'm all very grateful that they helped me out with the content I've created. But I guess I feel like now I'm in a position where I can narrate everything and I feel comfortable enough to do that.
Okay.
Nice.
I figured that top 15s would probably be priority, but that's a good way of looking at it. So Chelsea wants to know if you have any pets.
I don't, but I really wish I had a dog. Like really wish I had a dog.
What kind of dog would you have?
I would have a Pomeranian Husky.
Oh, those are so cute. Yeah. I would too. I completely would too. They're so adorable. I mean, I love dogs in general, but that one's so cute. Let's see. Are you a morning or night person?
I'm a night person, 100%. I find it very difficult to wake up before 11 a.m.
I prefer to be up at night. I'm more productive at night, but unfortunately I have a daytime job. So go figure.
Oh man, that's a dangerous combination.
Yeah, it really is, especially the older you get. Yeah, it catches up to you.
Fair enough.
Cynthia said, is Dylan going to VidCon?
No, I'm not. My network, they sent me an invitation. I think it was yesterday. They're doing some event for it, but it's my cousin's, because is it next week?
Yes, it is.
All right, I'm in Manitoba for my cousin's graduation.
Oh, have you ever been to VidCon before?
No, I haven't. Maybe next year. I need to actually plan it out in advance. And
oh my gosh, that would be awesome because I actually live in Southern California, so I can just be there. I mean, if like narrators come here and they're like, "Hey, let's hang out," I just feel like I'm gonna go over there just to meet you guys, and because it's nice, like the question I asked you about meeting other narrators within the next 12 months. I don't know. I would just want to meet everybody.
Yeah, definitely. Like it'd be really interesting just to get like the whole community in one room.
Yep, totally agree. Do you like Hamilton? And I'm going to assume that's the musical.
I've never seen it.
I haven't either. I know it's quite the craze these days, but yeah, that question was by Harry.
The only musical I've seen is the one that Trey Parker and Matt Stone did. What was it? The Book of Mormon.
Oh, I haven't seen that one, but I heard it's quite the riot.
Yeah, it was a pretty good time. A very every once in a while, one comes to like the city I live in, which is Calgary. But I'm sure in places like California or bigger places in the States, there's just more of a selection.
Yeah, there really is. I mean, I still haven't been to a musical because I'm not a huge fan of musicals, but there definitely is here in Southern California more of a selection. Living Among Us says, how does Chills feel about all of the people who he has inspired, such as himself?
I mean, it's just like it's an amazing feeling that someone can take something from my content and use that to create something of their own is, I mean, it's an amazing feeling. I really struggle to put it into words.
Let's see. Oh, bye, Swamp Dweller. Thank you for stopping by. I know you're not feeling better. Hope you feel better soon.
See ya.
Where was it? Oh, Lizzie Battle, one of the biggest cheerleaders in the community, wants
For
you to know
sure.
that she loves you.
Aw, I love you too. She's like, she probably is like the most supportive person in this community. Like every tweet I put out, you know, she responds to every picture, every video I put out. I can see that she comments on. So thank you very much.
Yeah, and you know what? I realized that when she started following me and I had, I don't know, like 10 subscribers, and I'm just like, who is she? Because I would see her commenting on you guys' stuff all the time, and then she followed me. I was like, wow, she's just like a mega fan of everybody. It doesn't matter how big or small you are. So it's pretty
awesome.
amazing. Let's see. Do you have any questions, Goose?
I don't know.
I know you're speechless right now.
Yeah, I'm just fangirling silently.
Oh,
Don't mind me. I'm just here.
it's okay, Goose. I understand your fangirling.
Yeah, I mean, this is what
I
it
know
is.
I'm gonna get all the messages after this on how you were just in awe of Dylan here.
No, they would be correct. It's I've likened it before to when we streamed with Corpse and it's like interacting with your favorite band, like somebody that inspired you to do this. It's it's amazing. So yeah, I'll just be here just shaking and shit. Don't mind me.
Yeah, I mean, I was telling Dylan before we started the stream that it's just, because he is such a big channel, it was just such an honor for him to reach out to me and say, hey, will you interview me? Because, I mean, I'm afraid of asking the bigger narrators. But no, he reached out to me. So that says something about him. Like he sounds like a really humble guy so far.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, I want to say that's my biggest, I want to say fear is using, I guess, like you see so many people who they grow a bit of a following and it's totally changes their personality. Like they sort of just think they're the shit. Like to me, it's awesome that I can do this, but I don't want to feel like I'm any different of a person because of it. Like to me, it's taught me to be more appreciative and it's taught me a much better work ethic. But I really would never want to feel like I'm above somebody just because I have an online following. To me, that would just be sad.
Which is awesome, man, because like you said, too many people change. And I mean, not very many people can say they have your number of subscribers and, they have like maybe a fraction of it and they like all of a sudden just think they own the world and that they're it and that, nobody can touch them. So like I said, you seem like a very humble person, even though you obviously are very successful with YouTube, which is awesome. Chelsea wants you to know that you are so cute.
Aw, thank you.
Yeah, there's another question. Somebody asked how tall are you?
I am 6 feet 5 inches.
Oh my God, you're tall.
What?
Yeah. People tell me that all the time. It's almost like, and I've never, over the course of my life, I've never figured out like that response to somebody calling me tall.
Lord,
Like,
I'm
quite tall, so everybody's tall to me.
Do you play basketball?
I did in high school.
I would imagine so. You were center, right?
Yeah. Just get those rebounds. I could not shoot at all, but could get those rebounds.
You got 20 rebounds a game easy, That's crazy. He's 6'5".
I look like, I don't know, an elf next to him because I'm only 5 feet tall. So that would be very interesting. Oh my gosh. Let's see. Do you listen to rap? Chelsea said, Dylan, do you listen to rap? If so, who's your favorite artist?
My favorite artist is Young Thug, but over the course of my life, the one artist that I've listened to since I was a child and I could still listen to now is Kanye West. So it'd sort of be hard to put one above the other.
Gotcha. Okay, so you have like your lifelong one, and then your new love.
Yeah, but I mean, there's so many rappers I like. I could list off, you know,
So
10,
is
20 of them.
rap your favorite genre?
Oh, 100%.
Have you heard of any of Goodnight Goosebumps here, his raps? Because he has some raps out that he puts on
No, I
Twitter all the
haven't.
time.
I'll have to check them out after this.
Yeah, he's quite the rapper over there. Let's see. Chelsea wants to know if you would ever go to Jersey or come to Jersey, rather, here in the States.
Possibly. Like if I had a friend that was there or a reason to be there. I don't know if
Gotcha.
I would ever just wake up one day and go,
And like, I'm going to
going to
Jersey.
Jersey.
Cynthia said she loved the collaboration with Rob Dyke.
Yeah, thank you very much. That was really cool because he just sort of reached out to me. And the first time he reached out to me, I responded and I was like, yeah, like, let's figure something out, blah, blah, blah. And I probably didn't hear a response from him again. It was a couple of months and then he was like, oh, sorry, like, understandably, he's a very busy guy.
Uh-huh.
Like, can we do something together now? And it was just sort of in the next couple of days, we put both the videos together and had them out at the end of that week.
Oh, wow. So it was just kind of like finally, and then it came together all of a sudden. That's awesome. Dylan, have you ever read a story and thought, I can't read this on my channel because it's either too graphic or there's something that bothers you personally? By Carell.
Yes, if it's something that bothers me personally, especially in the past. Like when I was saying before, my biggest, I guess, concern for my content is quantity over quality. But back when, I was comfortable putting up just like a video a month, I was really, really conscious of like the stories I used. And if there was the smallest thing I didn't like about it, it didn't make the cut.
Uh-huh.
So moving forward, maybe even just with entries, if there's something that's just too graphic or I just don't think represents, I don't want to say the brand I have, but what I represent, then we'll take that out and put something else in there in its place. But
Are there
I don't say
certain
it happens
topics that you'd rather just not narrate?
Not necessarily. Maybe if I just don't like the topic.
Gotcha. Because for me personally, anything that has to do with kids, I won't narrate. Like, I just can't do it.
Kids is definitely like there was one. I think it was like shocking videos. I can't remember the exact name of it, but it was like they had kidnapped this girl and like everything that had happened to her. I mean, I'm not going to go in detail, but my writer, didn't. Crap, there's a figure of speech for this, but like basically went into full detail about what had happened. And I was just like, I felt sick to my stomach narrating this.
Wow.
And I remember my editor, because I told him in the recording, I was like, we need to take huge chunks of this out. Like, I just do not feel comfortable putting this out to people.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, it's not, I don't know. It freaks me out to do things like that. Laniva said, Dylan, do you watch The Walking Dead? And if so, are you Team Negan?
So I watched the first 3 seasons of The Walking Dead, and I'm really bad with shows just like losing interest and then just like stopping watching them altogether. So I have seen the first 3 seasons. Beyond that, I have no idea what's going on with the show.
Gotcha. Yeah, you know what? Especially with The Walking Dead, I feel like there were certain points that really kind of weighted people out, and they're just like, you know what, never mind. And then at one point, I think I stopped watching after season 3, and then I came back, and then I think not this current season, but the season previous, like they killed off like some of my favorite characters. I'm like, you know what, I'm done. This is where I'm gone. Sorry, guys. So yeah, specifically that show is one of those where it's just had its waves where it's weeded people out.
Yeah, that shit. It's the same thing over and over again. Just like,
it's
less
starting to
zombies
turn into
every time.
yeah, pretty much. Chelsea said Freddy Krueger or Jason.
Jason.
I'm Team Michael, okay? I'm all Michael Myers. All Michael Myers all the time. What about you?
Why Michael Myers? He's like one of the worst ones. He just saunter around and stab teenage
Exactly. He
girls.
doesn't need to do much. Exactly. And he still gets the job done. So what now?
That sounds boring.
What
I
about
think
you,
he's boring.
Goose? Who do you choose?
I don't watch that stuff. I watch Sports Center.
Well, fine then.
I
Don't watch
don't watch
the
scary
scary
stuff.
stuff.
It gives me nightmares.
But yet you watch Dylan. Explain that.
I mean, it's better to listen to it. I don't watch it. It should freak me out.
Fair enough.
So you can listen, but you can't watch. Got it. Let's see. There was another question. Living Among Us, he's from Canada. Somebody asked where you're from.
I'm from Calgary in Canada.
Neko Ferret said, Dylan, did you ever play hockey or were on a hockey team?
I played a little bit of hockey as a kid. Nothing like just sort of rec league, and I played ball hockey for a little bit. But I feel like it's one of those things where it's like every Canadian sort of goes through a bit of a phase with it.
Are there certain Canadian stereotypes that bother you? You know how we all just assume you guys play hockey.
Being super nice, like talking about.
Yeah, being
Sorry.
super nice.
Well, I feel like I
Living
do
up to that
say
stereotype.
sorry a lot. Like, and it's pretty common. Like, you know, you bump into someone, you both say sorry to each other. Like, it's pretty friendly, like with people on a day-to-day basis. Like, I've gone to other places in the world where it sort of just blows me away, that lack of just like common compassion, where in Calgary, or, you know, I don't want to say it's Canada wide, someone comes up to you and they need your help, you know, you don't think you're going to get scammed by them or you're about to get robbed. Like, you know, you do help them out, and you can talk to a complete stranger about like, oh, how's your day going? Blah, blah, blah. But probably the one that bothers me is the aboot and the A. Like, I wonder if people think we actually talk like that.
Yeah, South Park
We
right
do.
there, man.
We do. We do.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I heard it's actually like a regional thing. Like certain people or certain people from a certain area are actually the ones who say stuff like that. It's not all of you guys. Is that true?
I would say so. Like, I want to say that's sort of worldwide, like different areas sort of have different like lingos or like the way you say things. I want to say with the East Coast, people talk very fast, where us West Coasters, you know, we enunciate our words.
West Coast is best coast. Yeah. Well, I mean, what is it? It's in the East Coast that you guys have Quebec, where they speak only French, right?
Yeah. And going to Quebec, they're quite hostile to people who don't speak French.
Wow.
And
there goes that stereotype of everybody in Canada being nice. Like,
Well, I mean, I thought Quebec was trying to be its own country or something like that at some point.
It was like Quebec wants to, where I guess a portion of Quebecers want to, you know, separate. And it almost went through. There was like, I think in the 90s, and it was like a really close vote. Like the vote to stay in Canada was like 51% to 49% of the vote, like extremely, extremely close.
Wow.
But they're very separate cultures, I want to say. And especially like the West Coast, like the prairie provinces, they also, it's just like talk that we want to separate from Canada, because the argument is so much of the money coming to Canada is coming from the Western provinces and then is fed to the East Coast.
Oh.
But that's a whole conversation about politics.
Yeah, I mean, I guess California, especially right now with everything that's going on, it has said like, "Hey guys, let's just split off from the rest of the U.S. Let's be our own country. We have our own economy anyway." So, but nah, I get where it's coming from.
Do it.
Neko Ferret said, "What is your favorite color?"
Orange.
Wow, you're the first person I have ever met that has said orange.
Really?
Yeah. Orange isn't a very popular.
Yeah, dude,
color.
I don't know anybody who likes orange.
That's
pretty awesome.
That's awesome. I love orange, though.
That shit hurt my brain. I was like, orange? What? Awesome.
Oh my gosh, he's just full of surprises here. Let's see. Mr. Breadman said, I've met so many Canadians that sound more like Californians. I
Yeah, and
don't know about that.
I get a lot of comments, people saying that I sound like a stereotypical like surfer dude.
Oh yeah, I would have thought that.
I could see that. I mean, I guess now that it's been brought up, I could see the whole stereotypical surfer dude.
But
Yeah.
then you did the stream where you said you were from Canada, and I was like, oh, all right, yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
That makes sense too. So
Let's see. Living Among Us said, so the guy who got me started lives in Canada. Hell yeah.
Woohoo.
Are you a maple syrup snob?
I don't even like maple syrup. I prefer Aunt Jemima's. I want that corn syrup crap.
That
I'm
is
gonna have some pancakes.
that shit is delicious.
Very true.
oh my gosh. That is another stereotype of you guys. You guys and your maple syrup.
That
Let's
shit. Maple
see.
syrup's like $8. Anybody getting that shit?
Yeah, maple syrup is ridiculously overpriced.
Fuck
It's
that.
sort of like it's a novelty here now. Like they want tourists to bring back maple syrup.
Did we take out all your maple syrup because we gave you guys that cred? So then we're like, oh, that's the best syrup in the world. And now you guys are all low.
Exactly. Ruin the
Sounds like
supply.
America, yo.
Yeah. I mean, with coffee, I know that some of the Latin American countries are big with coffee, but like the actual people there just drink this really cheap stuff because it all gets exported to other countries. So I guess it's like that with maple syrup.
Yeah, fair enough.
Do you watch Ghost Adventures?
Maybe a couple episodes. 1 second. My allergies are killing me. I
Oh,
have to
sure,
blow
no
my
worries.
nose, but I'm gonna mute my microphone, but just in
Okay,
case
sure.
you guys could still hear it. 1 sec.
Okay. Thank you, Kuda. I am glad you like my voice. I appreciate that. Charlie,
Why you don't like my voice, Kuda?
because you're Goose.
Fuck man.
Bye, Dark Voices. Thank
Bye,
you so
Dark-
much
Dark
for
Voices.
congratulating me. Sorry, I can't talk tonight. Thank you, Lord of Terror, always calling me a Dawn. I appreciate that. You tell all the girls that though, so it's cool.
Shit.
Oh, I am back, by the way.
Thank you for coming back.
That was just gonna be me just like ending the call. That's how I was gonna end it. Just
Yeah, I was gonna be like,
allergies are killing me.
Wings or pizza by Leniva.
Pizza 100%.
What kind of pizza?
It depends on the place I order it from. But I'm not
Oh.
picky when it comes to pizza. I just don't like pineapple on pizza.
Ah, you're killing me. I love Hawaiian pizza. Thank you, Dee. I appreciate it. What's the history with Dylan's picture that he has for his icon at the moment for this stream? Oh yeah, because this picture is different from your usual one.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking if I should change it for this. This was just the one I used for this account. I think it's like it's a Medusa. I just like didn't want to put my actual face on this account, and I don't know where I found this picture, but I liked it, so I was like, hey, I'll just make it my icon.
Oh,
I wish I had
it's
some like
actually a really
story
cool one,
for it.
but
Yeah.
I like Medusa. Have you ever seen a spooky ghost?
A spooky ghost.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say necessarily a spooky ghost, but like when it was like the 7th grade, that's what me and my friends would do all the time. It was like ghost hunting, but I feel like it was more or less like we just freaked ourselves out more than actually like finding paranormal things.
So do you believe in paranormal things then?
I do believe in the paranormal, but I haven't seen a ghost, I want to say, firsthand. But there's like, the more research I do in, I want to say the paranormal genre, you just find these stories that are like, how could you prove this didn't happen? And I'm not saying necessarily all the ones, like as ghost sightings has become more and more of a popular topics, obviously people are going to make fake versions to throw in that mix. But there's been a couple, I want to say, that just even using any form of logic and reasoning trying to explain it, I would just not be able to.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, personally, I've seen a shadow person before. So I do believe like in paranormal stuff. I mean, I'm not one of those people who see it everywhere or anything crazy like that, but it's just like I've had, yeah.
Where you see it?
I used to live in a really old house when I was a kid, and I think it was from like the 1950s or something. I mean, I call that really old, but I guess people died around Christmas time at some point in that corner because I lived in like in a busy street corner, and I think that's why like there was like a shadow person in that house because I saw it as a
Would you
kid.
just walking around and you seen that shit in the corner?
It's like seeing a shadow like inside the house, and there's
Fuck
like
that.
nothing to cause the shadow. And you know what?
I'd have burned it down. Fuck
It
that
freaked me
noise.
out because it freaked me out then, but I thought it was so strange because when I joined this community, I realized that the shadow people with like the hats and stuff, because usually people see them with like hats or long overcoats, and it's a common thing to see them like that. So I thought it was just like okay, well, this particular shadow looked like that, but no other people see the same thing. So I'm just like, I wonder what the origin of that is. It's freaky.
Shit, I'd have burned the house down. No way.
It was a good thing we were renting the house, but yeah, and it was always abnormally cold, so that was also kind of weird about that house.
Weird.
Yeah.
Fuck that. Nope.
Yeah, not into that shadow people thing. Like it freaks me out. Let's see. Oh, thank you, Rainer. I appreciate that. Laniva, did you really have to rub in my face that you're having pineapple pizza right now? That's really mean. Okay. Disposing Pie said, chills, bro. How do you do this without getting chills?
I do get chills sometimes. There's sometimes where it's like even scary stories when like you get to that part where it's like really meant to freak you out. I'll have like chills all over my body.
Is there like a certain video or story that freaked you out the most? I don't think I asked you that question.
Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head. Like that's the issue after like so many years of doing this.
Seriously,
You're
man.
always like thinking in the future, like sure, I guess I'm aware completely of the last couple of videos I've done, but even you ask me the videos I did like 3-4 months ago, what were all the entries on the list? What were they all about? I'm not sure I have the brain capacity for that. So I guess I really struggle with the questions where it's like, what's your favorite? Yeah, like what's the favorite thing about this video?
How do you keep track of stories you've already done? I've always wondered that.
Yeah, that's true.
Sometimes I'll have slip-ups where it just didn't compute to me that I've already done this story, but most of the time when I'm reading through it, I can kind of go like, hey, this sounds pretty familiar. And if I have that feeling in my, like, you know, that gut feeling like you've already done this before, just probably toss it aside for something else.
I don't know. I feel like after so many years and so many videos, they would all just blend together for me. They would all sound familiar.
Top 15 stories I already did and then remembered halfway through.
Yeah. And I'm bad for that. Like, and I always get comments where it's like, you've already talked about this in this video. Whereas like, God, I really wish I could remember that video in the first place.
You'd be like, for real? No, I didn't. What? My bad, guys.
Oh my gosh.
Y'all watching anyway. Don't worry about it.
Chelsea wants to know if you ever talk to your subs in DM, and you don't have to answer that if you don't want to.
No, I definitely do, but the amount of DMs I get is like ridiculous, especially on Instagram. Like every, I want to say 5 minutes, if I refresh it, there'll be like new ones there. So it's not like I could respond to every single one, but I try to, you know, when I'm feeling in that sort of mood. My biggest issue is I want to say I'm like a very introverted person. So.
Oh, so we're lucky to have you here then.
Yeah. Like
awesome.
It's just, yeah, like I guess I avoid, I want to say human contact, if not necessary sort of deal.
Well, I'm hoping we made this enjoyable enough for you where it wasn't, you know, like you had to force yourself.
Yeah, you didn't reinforce what he didn't like about the shit. It's like, I don't like them people, man.
No,
I'm staying in the house for 2 months.
Yeah. I've really enjoyed myself so far.
Oh, good, good.
Nice.
That's what I try to do with these streams is make sure everybody enjoys themselves and aren't talking over one another all the time, like a lot of streams, you know. Mr. Breadman said beer, wine, or hard alcohol.
I'm not picky when it comes to liquor. It all gets you drunk.
As long as it gets you drunk, really? Have you had moonshine before?
I have had moonshine before.
Oh man.
But it's like I don't know if it's like actual moonshine, but that's like a drink you can get in Canada, like liquor stores. It like comes in a mason jar. It's all these different flavors.
It's
But
probably not real moonshine.
yeah, it's not real moonshine. I usually just stick to hard liquor. Like I try very hard not to get hungover. I usually do that by just drinking hard liquor.
Gotcha. What about you, Goose?
What? Drinking?
Well, yeah, what do you prefer?
Yeah, I mean, Dylan said it, yo. If it gets
As
you
long as it
fucked
gets
up,
you drunk?
Yeah.
All right.
like,
then.
no, don't drink the cheap stuff because that should give you a headache the next day. But you know,
I like
it's
my
what-
Moscow
whatever.
mules. Moscow
Was it-
mules
what
are
is
the
it?
best thing ever. Moscow mules.
I don't know what the hell that is.
Oh my
My-
god, Goose.
My girlfriend just brought that up the other day. She said she wanted to get all of her cups, the Moscow Mule, like the silver cups. And I
Yes,
had
the
not even
copper
heard
cups,
of them.
they're the
Yeah.
best. You have to have them. You have to. I mean, you should get that for her. That was a hint from her.
Yeah, I guess so.
What is it? What's in that joint?
Yeah, what is it?
It's ginger ale. Well, it could be
Mhm.
ginger ale or ginger beer, rather. I do it with ginger ale because I don't like beer. But it's ginger beer. The Moscow one is vodka and lime. Yep, I think that's it. Yep, it's really good. You should have it. I'll
Well,
link you.
I'll make it right now, yo.
You
I
should.
got
You
all-
should
I
do
got that
it.
stuff. We alcoholics here, yo.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, we are alcoholics. Dylan just broke like a million hearts right now because he said he has a girlfriend. There you go, ladies. That answers your question. Oh my gosh.
Shit.
Let's see. There was one I wanted to ask you, but somebody said, how do you deal with people hating on your voice? Neko Ferret said it.
At the beginning, it
Mhm.
really bothered me to the point that I was just sort of like, oh, I'm going to hire some voice actors or work with some people in the community and I'm just not going to narrate. And every time I would try to do that, it was just always then the influx of like, bring back the old narrator, bring back the stoner surfer or whatever.
Stoner server. Wow.
Dude, I've read comments like that, dude. He's not. That's legit.
That over time, you just sort of learned that it's just words on a computer screen. Like, it's not like that person's opinion really means anything to me.
Yeah. Do you welcome constructive criticism though, or are you just like, whatever, I'm doing this, I know what I'm doing?
I welcome constructive criticism if it's sort of written appropriately. Like, if someone is like, that's what they're trying is like, hey, you can improve by doing this, this, and this. I will definitely take that into thought for future videos. But if someone's just like, fuck you, you did this.
No, that's not
was-
constructive.
Yeah.
That's not constructive at all. How do you feel when people correct the way that you say certain words?
Like, I don't want to say it pisses me off, but it's kind of just like, it almost makes me think like, my favorite one is Yosemite. Like, my whole life I've said Yosemite. And it wasn't until like I put myself, like it was in a video that it was corrected in such an influx that I was just like, nobody had ever told me I was pronouncing this wrong.
Oh my
And
god.
I always
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah. And I always do find it interesting that like this is what I've ended up doing because like as a toddler, like I just didn't want to talk, or as like I sort of had my own language. Like I had years of speech therapy
Oh, okay.
that I want to say still like I'm not perfect with I don't want to say just talking, I guess, but for lack of a better term, just talking. So if there is a word now that I'm like, maybe I'm not 100% confident on this, I'll look up the pronunciation. But there is still a lot of times that I'm like, oh, I know how to pronounce that. And
Well,
you
see,
read the
okay,
comments,
so-
and I was like, maybe not.
I'm about to say, do you second guess yourself like that? You'd be like, I'm fairly certain I know how to say that.
Yeah. Sometimes. And the worst is always names.
Oh gosh. And it's funny because a while back, I was having a conversation with other narrators, and we were talking about the pronunciation thing, how people like hate on you for pronunciations. And some people think that you do it on purpose almost, just because you can, I guess. You know how there's that conspiracy theory with Starbucks, how Starbucks like baristas write your name wrong just because I guess it gives them like free advertising when you post about it everywhere and how they spelt your name wrong. They're like, yeah,
Yeah.
maybe he does it on purpose because of this, this, and this. And I'm like, I don't know about that. And
That's some
then
next level shit right there.
yeah, they thought that it was some super clever like marketing scheme on your part. But I was
Damn,
like,
that is
I
quite a deep thought into that.
there you go. See,
I know what I'm about to do.
there's conspiracy theories about you everywhere.
So-
But and then I saw you making a video and you asked Google how to pronounce something. I think it was your first stream that you did, live stream where you were reading a story. And I realized that you actually look up some of the words, and I'm like, okay, Google is telling him the wrong pronunciation to that like word. Like, it's Google's fault, guys. We can blame Google on all his mispronunciations. But yeah, I was like, see, it's
And
solved, guys.
yeah, and I want to say like another big problem is like certain words are pronounced different ways in different regions of the world.
Very true. Very true. So I think that's also another thing. I feel like the British folks have that issue even more than we do in America.
Hmm.
So yeah, I could see where that would be an issue.
Yeah, and I think also in that stream, I looked it up a couple of times and then I screwed up the line. And when I did the retake, I said it the way I originally thought. Like it had just completely slipped my mind learning that new pronunciation.
Mhm.
So I always sometimes I second guess myself with that. It's like,
Oh,
did
that
I
sucks.
do that retake properly? And if I'm reviewing the video and it does occur to me like, hey, this is not pronounced properly, I'll like, redo the line, but not 100% accurate when it comes to those things.
Gotcha. Okay. Mr. Breadman said, is he going to school? And if so, what is he studying?
I am I guess attending a university, but I'm not in any classes right now. It was sort of just like appeasing the family sort of thing.
Oh, okay. Sneaky
That's
of
baller
you.
as shit, yeah.
Sneaky of you.
That's the ballest shit I've ever heard in my life. I'm gonna go to college, but I'm just not gonna go to the party.
Wow.
So yeah, it was like, this was years ago as well when I first graduated. Sort of that confliction with my mom and I, where she wanted me to go to university. I just wanted to focus on YouTube. And I think we just kind of both came to that mutual agreement that at some point I will do university, but just at this point in my life, it's not the right time to be doing that. And like a very close YouTube friend of mine, Will, who runs Top 5 Unknowns.
Oh, yeah.
He's in school for neuroscience, and
Whoa.
he's also running the channel. And I mean, I talk to him and like, he tells me how stressed he is and how like burned out that level of a workload is. And it's happened to him a couple times where he's had to completely neglect his channel to focus on his studies and make sure he's actually getting good grades.
Yeah, that man's on another level. Neuroscience, I mean, just doing that by itself is a challenge. And then he's doing a channel on top of that. My God, he has my respect times a million.
Yeah, he's a smart guy.
That's really intense. Like, no, but I can understand. I mean, with YouTube, you basically have your very own business that's profitable. So I can understand why you would want to put school off anyway. So
Yeah, and I mean, it's definitely my passion right now. So I don't know for sure. Like if someone asks me like, where do you see yourself in 10 years? I can't say for sure I would still be doing this, but for the time being, I mean, it's what I really enjoy to do. So
yeah, which is great because it comes across in your videos. And I mean, I say this all the time, but it's like, if you're making money off of this, great. But if you're making money off of this and you hate it, then, maybe you should be doing something else. It shouldn't be just about the money. So it's awesome to hear that, you're actually passionate about this. Let's see. Hold on.
Hey, I'm gonna have to leave. Like talking about if y'all are still doing this when I get back, I'll see if I get back on. But if not, Margbot, thank you for the opportunity to be here with one of the people that inspired me. And Dylan, you the real MVP, man.
Well, thank you, man. And it's nice meeting you.
So I'll talk to y'all later.
Okay, bye, Goose.
Peace.
See ya.
Let's see. Okay. What do you do during your free time by Brandon?
I like Netflix, and I play video games and hang out on my computer, browse Reddit, blah, blah, blah. I really have gotten into fitness the last couple of years, so I try to work out on a daily basis, hang out with friends, do the stuff a normal kid my age would be doing.
Gotcha. Sounds fun.
Yeah.
Let's see. Charlie wants to know what your favorite movie is. I think we already asked what your favorite horror movie was. I'm not sure we asked what your favorite movie was.
Oh, that's another tough question. I think I would I know that you asked me what my favorite horror movie is, but to just say what a favorite movie is, just a number one, I would have to go I'd have to split it into genres.
A favorite action movie.
I really like the John Wicks, the first one.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, I you know what? I've never seen the first one. The second one was okay, but I feel like I really missed out because I didn't see the first one.
The first one's better.
They usually are, the first ones of anything are usually better. Is there a video you regret making by Lord of Terror?
Yes, sometimes I'll get to a point where I see it's a trend on YouTube where it's so popular, and then it's not necessarily jealousy, but it's hey, I should, and I don't want to say capitalize is the word either, but it's sort of hey, I should do something on this. This is a way to attract a bigger audience. And this is what people want to see. So putting out a video that is maybe not that strong of a topic and was just, looks to me like I am just capitalizing on a trend, then at the time it seems like a good idea. And then a month or two down the road, I'm that was a stupid thing I did. I probably shouldn't have done that.
Do you feel like that about the clowns? Or no?
I was happy with the clown ones.
Okay.
I thought the clown videos it was almost doing, I don't want to say it was doing a service, but it was putting out at least a higher quality video than what the other list channels were doing for that topic. And it was just kind of what people wanted to see. And it was obviously, it's one of the most popular videos I've ever put out. I would say more I did one when it was that 1,000-degree knife one was really popular.
Yeah,
That I was sort of yeah, that was maybe not the best idea.
That one seemed a little bit out of place, I guess you could say, even for your channel, because I know, you do different topics, but that one seemed kind of out of place. I was like, what happened here?
Yeah, it was just sort of just seeing why are videos getting 40, 50 million views about this? All right, fuck it, I'll do one. And
it's like the spinner toys. I don't get it. Some people love them, and I'm like, okay, the fidget spinners or whatever. But I guess some things are just strangely trendy.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's that conflict between, is it what I want or is it what my audience wants? Or even maybe just YouTube in general is is this what YouTube wants from me as a creator? Because it is pretty obvious that once trends start to pick up on YouTube, those are the videos that YouTube is showing to the vast majority of people. It's am I stinting myself for not bowing down to the overlords of this website?
Yeah, I can see why that would be a conflict. Berto wants to know, which conspiracy theory do you find interesting?
That's a good question. There's a couple. let me. I want to say there was one. It was like on JFK, but I can't remember what it was exactly. But I remember like really diving deep.
Is it the one where the government actually murdered him?
Yeah, I think so.
That's
And
the
it was,
popular one.
and I also found one. It was funny. It was like I think it's the Denver airport is like made by white supremacists
What? I've
or
never
it
heard
was like
that
by
one.
Nazis or it's something about the Denver airport. Like, hold
That's
on, I'm just gonna
crazy.
look this up.
Go for it. I've never heard that one.
Yeah, Denver airport conspiracy.
Hi,
Oh, it was
everyone.
made
Thank
by
you.
like the
Uh-huh.
Freemasons. Oh, sorry for interrupting you.
Oh, no, it's okay. No, I was just gonna say thank you to everyone who's wishing me a happy 1K. I really appreciate it. Couldn't have done it without you guys. Um, it was made by the Freemasons. Why do they think that?
Just like the design and the artwork, and they're like, Denver didn't need another airport. Why is this here?
Ah, gotcha. Carell wants to know if you could go anywhere in the world right now, where would you go?
Maybe Africa.
Why Africa?
Just like to go somewhere that's just like not culturally similar to where I live right now. Or maybe like somewhere in like Asia, just somewhere that's like very different from
You're a
what I'm
very,
used to.
I'm not sure if unpredictable is the right word, but I mean, you're just,
Serving
I
up
don't
those
even.
curveballs.
Yeah, exactly. You throw out a lot of curveballs. Like, you chose a strudel when it's not popular, and you chose orange when we've never heard of anybody saying that before. And now you want to go to Africa. Because, most of us, like first world people, never want to go to these third world countries, even though they do have their own beauty, especially with Africa. There's a lot of like natural beauty with animals and things like that to see. But, most of us are too, like, I don't know, we lack courage to go out and be in these places where there's no electricity all the time.
Yeah, fair enough. And I think it is like it's pushing yourself out of your comfort zone because going to a place like that, all those amenities that we're used to.
Yeah,
But I
exactly.
guess it also depends where you're going in Africa. Because just to say Africa as a continent is just like one big developing place
It is a
isn't
big
true.
development place.
Yeah, so I guess it really depends where I would end up
Yeah, because I'm
going.
pretty sure South Africa, it's way more first world like than, I don't know, Nigeria or something like that.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. Griffin, I am not from Panama. I don't even know where that came from. Actually, Lord of Terror likes to say I'm from Panama. I'm actually not from Panama. Let's see. Favorite comedy by Charlie.
Probably It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Everybody loves It's Always
Yeah, it's
Sunny.
such a good show.
Let's see. I don't see any other questions. But favorite Cartoon Network show.
See, we don't have Cartoon Network in Canada. So
Oh,
it's like it's a lot of the same shows.
I see. Um, so I have to ask this because I'm a fan of the show. Have you ever watched Degrassi? Is it a big deal over there?
It is a big deal. I've seen episodes on TV. Like, everyone talks about how Drake was on it. He was in the
Yeah,
wheelchair.
yeah.
But I've never like sat down and watched a full season of it. But it is a
Gotcha.
very popular show.
Oh, okay. I was just wondering if it was bigger there than it is here because it is a Canadian show. Um,
I would say like the big Canadian shows is like Trailer Park Boys, Kenny
oh.
versus Spenny. I don't know if you've heard of either of those.
I've heard of both of them. I think I've actually seen an episode of Trailer Park Boys, but never Kenny versus Spenny.
Both of those shows I just recommend like just watching every episode. Like just the concepts are so unique.
Have you or do you watch Game of Thrones at all? Are you familiar with it?
I've watched like the first season. It's the same thing with The Walking Dead. I've just like
Gotcha.
something else has come up and I just haven't watched it since. And then since all this time has gone by, I know I would need to start it from the beginning.
Yeah, that's one of those that you have to pay attention to, trust me.
Yeah.
Hi, Frank Plays, welcome. Okay, guys, so we're going to wrap this up soon because I'm pretty sure that he's getting tired of us asking him questions.
I was about to say I have to get going anyway, so
yeah.
this is good timing.
Yeah, right. Perfect. I just always know when it's happening, you know?
Yeah.
I have that ESP. Okay, so guys, thank you everybody for coming, and thank you so much, Dylan, for allowing me to interview you. It's been pretty amazing getting to know you other than just your videos. And I mean, you come across as a really humble person, and that's great in this community.
Well,
And
thank you very much for having me on your channel. I
yeah,
really,
of course. I mean, if you ever want to come back and just be social with us, then you're always welcome, man.
for sure, thank
I'm
you.
always a DM away. And to everybody who wished me a happy 1K, I appreciate it. You guys know how much I've struggled to get here. But you know, thanks for sticking with me. And hopefully this is just the first 1K out of many more Ks. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody. And you too, Dylan.
Well, thank you very much, you as well, and congratulations on hitting this milestone.
Thank you. All right, then. Later, guys. Margbot out.